Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Kyle here from SpeedBets, bringing you guys another UFC video. Today we're going to be breaking down the Taliesin Teixeira Derek Lewis Fight Night card, UFC Nashville. This card right here, I'm not going to lie to you, it's pretty horrible in terms of betting. There should be a lot of exciting fights. I'm seeing a lot of finishing potential. But guys, I just can't, man. These lines right here, if you're parlaying up the favorites on this card, man, you are insane. I mean, there's like I think there's like 5 fights over minus 300. Maybe even more. That might be over minus 500 now. I mean, these cards absolutely insane, absolutely disgusting lines. Like I said, if I catch anyone betting Chris Curtis at minus 300, you're out of your mind. Out of your mind. Absolutely disgusting lines. But guys, Sorry, it's all out of whack right now. I was on vacation for the last week in Mexico. Absolutely amazing down there. And then I came back. We've been crushing the MLB. Absolutely destroying the MLB player props in the Discord right now. Again, totally free, 100% free. Join the Discord. All my bets that I send out, 100% free. This show right here is not betting advice. I'm not telling you that if you want to make $1 million, you should be betting. But if you have the money to bet, if you're already betting, might as well do it the right way. Follow me. Follow what I've been doing. I've been proving it's working. It's absolutely insane. If you look in the Discord, you'll see just a wall of green slips. And yeah, without further ado, man, let's get right into this card. First fight then here we have Fatima Klein coming in at like a minus 1,500. Minus 1,500. This girl's only good win is Daria Zelezniakova. I mean, we know for a fact Daria Zelezniakova cannot grapple. Melissa Mullins had a clear path to victory the way she beat her the first time 2 weeks ago. Every time she took her down, Daria was clueless on the ground. But Melissa Mullins just decided not to grapple, even though she's a grappler. It is what it is. I said in the breakdown, Melissa Mullins she needs to get the shit kicked out of her before she remembers she's a grappler. Well, she got the shit kicked out of her and she still forgot she was a grappler. So I don't really know, man. I'm done paying chalk for fighters to wrestle. They just don't wrestle. There's so many times in the recent history where a fighter has a ultra clear path to victory through wrestling. The one that's ingrained in my head the most is Andre Petrosky versus Edmund Shabazian. Maybe Dylan Budka versus Edmund Shabazian. Edmund Shabazian fights piss me off so much. Because I know the dude's probably going to win by knockout over these guys. But the fact of the matter is, if you just wrestle him, you will 100% win the fight. Petrosky doesn't wrestle, loses. Budka doesn't wrestle, loses. These guys are both wrestlers. They're both grapplers. It is out of my... I can't even fathom the game plan that goes into some of these fights. So what happens right now? What happens if Fatima Klein goes out there and wants to test her striking at the UFC level? Man, she had some striking success against Jasmine Jasudavicius. Everybody has striking success against Jasmine Jasudavicius. That's nothing new. Jasmine doesn't strike. Jasmine grapples. Jasmine is one of the few people you can count on to grapple every single fight. Fight in, fight out, Jasmine is going to grapple because she cannot strike, and she knows that. Again, going back to the Melissa Mullins example, Melissa Mullins can't strike, but she doesn't seem to know that. If Fatima Klein doesn't grapple here, she's cooked. Melissa Martinez is actually a good striker, a quality striker. Now, she got out-grappled by Elise Reed, and that's automatically Fatima Klein's going to win the fight if you're getting out-grappled by Elise Reed. But we'll give her the slight benefit of the doubt. It is what it is, whatever. She beat Alice Ardeline. Okay, fair enough, decent performance. Her striking's good. Her head movement is crisp. She's in, she's out. She's very good at getting in and out and not staying too long. Fatima Klein, her striking's garbage. If this fight stays on the feet for one full round, Melissa Martinez is going to win that round. You can actually, if you don't think Fatima Klein's going to find the finish, which I'm inclined to believe she's not. Melissa Martinez doesn't have takedown defense. I watched some of the regional fights. She's showing takedown defense against these low level opponents. I can't put a ton of stock into that. I think Fatima Klein is going to be able to take her down. But if Fatima Klein's having a tiny bit of success on the feet, maybe she just doesn't. I mean, she tried taking down Jasmine. She got a good a blast double leg on Jasmine Jasudavicius. But she wanted to test the striking because she knew she was at a grappling disadvantage. She's not going to be at a grappling disadvantage, but all I'm saying is if Fatima Klein doesn't wrestle, she's going to lose. The fact that I can get plus 3.5 in a WMMA fight at plus 350 odds for Melissa Martinez, I think that's insane. I'm fully aware Fatima Klein is a phenomenal grappler. And people are going to point to the Daria fight. Oh, look at what she did. She took her down and mauled her. Yeah, that's Daria Zelezniakova. Anyone who's ever grappled before can take down Daria and maul her on the ground. I could beat Daria up on the ground. It's not saying a ton. Melissa Martinez isn't going to offer much resistance But if Fatima Klein doesn't wish to engage in the grappling, Melissa Martinez is going to beat her up. I don't know how many times I can just repeat the same exact phrase and just sound like I'm going to have an interesting take. I'm going to give you Fatima Klein as the fight winner. Do not bet her at minus 1,500. Like, do not parlay Fatima Klein at minus 1,500. Because I'm done betting on fighters to wrestle. We're going to talk about that later in this card too. There's a couple more fighters that have a very clear path to victory through the grappling. You can't trust it. Fighters don't want to grapple anymore. We had a guy, we had Carl Williams, who came out and said the UFC actively asked him not to wrestle. They asked him not to wrestle against Jonathan Deniz, the Glory Kickboxing. Like, champ. I don't think he was a champ, but he was like a top contender. And you can't make that up. Fatima Klein should win this fight by taking down Melissa Martinez, ground and pounding. I don't think she's going to get a finish. I think this fight goes all three. I think Melissa Martinez is a tough customer on the ground. She's just going to be put on like a survival masterclass, a Carlos Vera against Rinya Nakamura type survival masterclass. And she's going to cockroach her way to a decision. I think the plus 3.5 is ridiculous odds because I don't see a finish. But I 100% understand the finish side, so I'm probably not going to bet that. But I think that's a decent look. I think that's one of the only bets you should probably be making. Maybe fight goes distance at like plus 100. Maybe that's a decent look as well. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to play this one. Fatima Klein's going to win the fight because Melissa Martinez can't grapple. But again, if Fatima Klein chooses not to grapple, she's going to lose. We have Mitch Ramirez taking on Mike Davis. Mike Davis, again, another massive favorite coming in at like minus 1,000. Are you kidding me? Mike Davis at minus 1,000 in the big 25. Now, this guy has a great looking UFC record. He took down and mauled Vyacheslav Borishev. He took down and mauled, what's that kid's name? Mason Jones. And those are phenomenal performances. And then in his last fight, he comes in, and he's supposed to be this explosive wrestler. He's got big double legs. He's picking guys up. He's slamming them. Against Fares Ziam, the technical kickboxer, he runs in, engages in the clinch, and then he pulls guard and chases a calf slicer for 15 minutes. You don't know. Mike Davis should come forward. He should take down Mitch Ramirez, and he should submit him. I think that happens a lot more often than it doesn't. Sorry if you hear the sirens. It's interesting. But I think that Mitch Ramirez, one thing I will note, first of all, Mitch Ramirez is huge. You're going to see that Mike Davis is listed as being taller. It does not matter. I'm not talking about height. When you look at the build in Mitch Ramirez's last fight against Thiago Moises, he's literally massive. Like, this guy he didn't get mogged like crazy against Carlos Prates on the Contender Series when he fought at 170. Mike Davis is going to look much smaller. He's going to look weaker. But Mitch Ramirez's takedown defense isn't that stellar. I'm not even talking about the fact that technically it's at a 0% because he's only been taken down twice and he didn't defend either of them. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying from what I've watched, the way this guy stands, he's super heavy on the lead foot. Mike Davis can come in and he can absolutely blast through this guy if he wants to wrestle. If Mike Davis wants to pull guard and chase the calf slicer, he'll probably get beat up from the top. Mitch Ramirez has good power. He has lots of pop in his hands. He's a come-forward boxer. Mike Davis, like I've been trying to tell you guys, you don't really know what this guy's going to do. He's shown flashes of everything. I'm going to pick Mike Davis by submission because that's what should happen. But again, if he comes out trying to chase that calf slicer, I mean, shit, he just might get it. I'm probably going to put a little bit of money on Mike Davis by calf slicer because those odds are going to be insane. I mean, I'm seeing this guy on TikTok. He's literally coping about the last fight still. He posted a video, this was like a little bit ago, maybe a month or two ago. It was him calf slicering one of his teammates, and he's like, good to know these still work on normal people, and it's like a bunch of angry emojis. It's like, dude, I'm sorry Fares Ziam just has crazy knees, but you can't rely on that one move to win you a fight. Like, you have to offer a little bit more than that. You could say it was ring rust, you could say it was whatever. I think Mitch Ramirez is kind of a lamb to slaughter here. I don't see Mitch Ramirez having a ton of success, only because I know Mike Davis can wrestle and he should wrestle. So yeah, give me Mike Davis by submission. I'm going to go second round. I think the first round is going to kind of take it a little slow. Mitch Ramirez, he might get put in a bad position. Thiago Moises had this dude in a very deep rear naked choke, and he still found a way out of it. And I respect Thiago Moises' grappling. I think Mike Davis can finally get it done. I'm going to call the calf slicer just because he spent so much time chasing it in his last fight and he's whining like a little bitch on TikTok about it. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he gets it this time. Give me Mike Davis by calf slicer round 2. We have Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Walter Walker. Obviously the younger brother of Johnny Walker. And I'm telling you guys right now, I'm seeing everybody spamming. Walter Walker is not heel hooking Kennedy Nzechukwu. That is literally not something that's happening. Kennedy Nzechukwu across his 15 UFC fights has shown phenomenal takedown defense. Pretty much anyone who's like actively tried for the entire fight to take him down has managed to. Like, you got to go back to like Darko Stolcic, which like, sure, whatever. But lots of people are shooting on Kennedy. He's defending like 2 to 3 takedowns per fight on average because he hits so damn hard. He made Lucas Brzeski in his last fight in 1 round. Lucas Brzeski has not shot a takedown since his DWCS fight, where he got that submission like the 3rd round or something. He has not shot a takedown up until this Kennedy Nzechukwu fight. And the guy's like, that guy's got like 6 or 7 UFC fights. Has not shot a takedown since. Kennedy had him shooting 2 in the 1st round before he knocked him out. Like, this guy, he makes you grapple. Walter Walker will have to grapple. But Walter Walker is one of those guys where, like, yeah, he can't strike, and he knows that. Again, we're talking about this again. You're betting on Walter Walker. You're betting on him to literally run out there like Khamzat Chimaev and shoot instantly. If this guy stands with Kennedy Nzechukwu, regardless of how slow of a starter Kennedy is, he's done. Kennedy's strikes are very powerful. This guy's a very good kickboxer. He's got serious power. We're not going to forget what he did to Carlos Ulberg back in the day. We're not going to forget what he's been doing at heavyweight against Chris Barnett. I know Chris Barnett injured himself, and Lucas Brzeski's absolutely garbage. But Brzeski has a win over Walter Walker because Walter Walker, despite getting 4 takedowns in like 8 minutes of control time, he literally couldn't do anything with the positions. He could not solidify control. Obviously, he had like the control time. He wasn't doing anything with it. He wasn't landing significant ground strikes. If you're looking at total strikes, Lucas Brzeski landed him like 3-1. Like, he had like 150 total strikes landed. It's insane. I mean, Walter Walker, if he can't get that heel hook position, this guy isn't that dangerous. A lot of people are saying this guy's like some submission ace. Dude, Cyril Gane heel hooked Don'Tale Mayes. It's not as crazy of like oh my god, he heel hooked Don'Tale Mayes. Yeah, Don'Tale Mayes, who's been taken down by every single fighter he's fought. Don'Tale Mayes, who just got dominated like 2 10-8 rounds to Thomas Peterson. Don'Tale Mayes, who's been cut because he can't stop takedowns. We're talking about Junior Tafa, the dude who's got inflated takedown defense from Mohammed Usman, who may genuinely be one of the worst fighters on the roster. Mo Usman's just nothing but an athletic dude. This guy's takedowns, it's like he's trying to hug you from across the cage when he's trying to shoot on you. This guy's takedowns are garbage. You can see him from a mile away. Junior Tafa is literally like Mo Usman shooting in with his arms wide open like a bear hug, and Junior Tafa is just like pushing 2 hands on him. It's like the most bizarre shit you've ever seen. Okay, he got taken down twice. Cool. It doesn't matter. You're going to look at it and see like, oh, Junior Tafa's got 70% takedown defense. Dude, yeah, he stuffed 10 of Mo Usman's garbage-ass takedowns. It does not matter. It's an inflated stat. I don't think Walter Walker is going to have the most success taking down Kennedy Nzechukwu. I think this guy's going to be in a world of trouble on the feet. If you're banking on him to find a heel hook, whatever. If he does, fuck it, whatever. You know, he's made it pretty clear on social media his goal is to heel hook everybody. If you want to throw some money on that exact submission, I might do it myself, put like $5-10 on that. It'll probably be like 10-1 odds because he's done it twice in a row. It can't be that crazy. But I mean, I think Kennedy should win here. I think Kennedy should win this fight pretty easily. I think he's probably going to have to work from the clinch, turn Walter Walker around. We haven't seen Walter Walker extended really since his debut, where he showed that he had heart, and now he's gotten in shape a little bit. But does his cardio really that much better? I mean, he was looking pretty rough in that 3rd round against Brzeski, and Brzeski is not a good fighter. Kennedy Nzechukwu comes alive in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. Again, we haven't seen him in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. The OSP fight is just all kinds of weird. I have no words for that fight. I'm going to pretend that fight doesn't exist, because every other fight we've seen from this guy tells a completely different story than that fight. So give me Kennedy Nzechukwu for a 3rd round TKO. I think he's going to stop Walter Walker against the cage, hurt him with some body shots. He's going to push off a sloppy takedown attempt, and he's just going to work him against the cage to get that TKO finish. And we have the return of Lauren Murphy against Eduardo Mora. Now, Eduardo Mora is notorious for just letting everyone down, missing weight every single fight, losing to Denise Gomes. And I mean, that's been the tale of her career. She isn't good. She doesn't have good cardio. Her takedowns are sloppy. She just gets on top of you and size mogs you. In her last fight, she showed a little bit of technique. I thought her last fight against Veronica Hardy was a great performance. She looked improved. She looked healthy at this weight class. She wasn't killing herself to make weight. And for Lauren Murphy, I mean, it's been 2.5 years since Jessica Andrade beat 50 shades of shit out of Lauren Murphy's face. I mean, that fight could have been stopped probably 5 different times. That was one of the biggest ass whoopings in recent history, and it wasn't even recent. I mean, why would you come back from that? I wouldn't be surprised if it took 2.5 years to heal from that fight. She literally got every single ounce of shit kicked out of her that's possible. Andrade beat the brakes off this chick. And we know how bad Andrade is. But then Lauren Murphy, you look at the fight before that, and it's like, she got the shit kicked out of her by Valentina, took like a year off, or it was like a year and a half or something, came back and just out-rustled Miesha Tate somehow? Like, out-rustle-fucked Miesha Tate? I mean, Lauren Murphy's career makes absolutely zero sense. Everything in the world is screaming Eduardo Mora, ground and pound TKO. But it's like, Eduardo Mora isn't beating anybody worth a damn. Like, I'm sorry, Veronica Hardy, but what's her record in the UFC? Like 3-3, 4-4, something like that? I mean, her wins are like Juliana Miller and JJ Aldridge. I'm sorry, I don't rate those too highly. Like, Eduardo Mora's in there with Denise Gomes, and she doesn't look good. She's getting the shit kicked out of her there. Can't get the takedowns consistently. When she does, she's just laying on top of you with no damage, nothing. So you can't even reliably call like a ground and pound. I mean, the way I see this fight, if it ends inside distance, it's Eduardo Mora on top, just like peppering Lauren Murphy, and she's like covering up on the side. And it's just like a mercy kill. It's like the referee is just going to like pull the trigger and put Lauren Murphy out of her misery. Like, off to retirement you go. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Eduardo Mora is going to hug her on the ground, camp her in half guard, sit and mount, do absolutely nothing with it. And she's probably going to win a 30-27 decision. I mean, if Lauren Murphy from like 5 years ago wants to come back, I'd say she could put up a little bit of counter rustling. She could work in the strikes. Lauren Murphy, typically high-ish volume for like a 3-round fight. She's going to put up good volume. But I just don't think Eduardo Mora is going to give her the chance. I think Eduardo Mora is going to close the distance. She's going to take down Lauren Murphy, and she's just going to kind of blobber. I noticed at 125, and she actually fits in this weight class, but it's like, Lauren Murphy's 42. I'm not breaking anyone's mind, or I'm not blowing anyone's mind here. Give me Eduardo Mora by decision. Then we have a fight where the odds are finally half decent. We have Jake Matthews taking on Chidi Njokuani. Chidi coming in like minus 160. Jake Matthews like plus 140 on the contrary. And this fight here is a little interesting. I see a lot of people taking the dog on Jake Matthews. I think a lot of people are relying on his durability. He's going to get the takedowns. He's going to find the late. I see people calling submission. I don't know about that. But I see a lot of people calling for a wrestling game plan out of Jake Matthews. And the only problem with that is like you have to go back probably like 5-6 years to find the last time Jake Matthews put on a wrestling heavy game plan. Like, it's been since the Emil Meek fight where this guy actually wrestled for the full 15. I mean, Jake Matthews isn't finishing anybody. Let's get that very, very clear. Jake Matthews is not finishing anybody. Chidi, on the other hand, is finishing people. He just finished up Elizeu Zaleski, which is actually very impressive. He did miss weight, but this guy is fucking huge for 170. This guy's massive for 170. 6'3", and he's built. Like, this dude was filling a 185 frame, and then he just decided to come to 170 and just ruin everyone's day. I mean, against Jared Gooden, put a beat down on him. Against Reese McKee, he got a little tired. He was kicking the shit out of Reese McKee. Reese McKee has a crazy chin. He just didn't die. The third round got a little dicey. But, I mean, Reese McKee, I don't think Reese McKee won that fight. Chidi won that fight very clearly. He just lost the third round. Jake Matthews, to all of his faults, Matthew Semmelsberger kind of put a beat down on him. But this guy is durable. This guy's like the definition of durable. But, dude, the way I'm seeing it as of recent, Chidi isn't really losing decisions. And this fight's going to decision. I don't know how this fight would end inside distance. I don't genuinely have no idea what would have to happen for this fight to end inside distance. Jake Matthews going to submit Chidi. Chidi ever been subbed? I mean, I guess like once or twice. I can't see that. He survived against Duraev. He's not getting subbed there. I mean, to his credit, Chidi is actually pretty decent takedown defense. I think he's going to work Jake Matthews from the outside. I think he's going to keep the footwork going. He's going to be in. He's going to be out. And I think Jake Matthews is going to catch some nasty elbows in the clinch. I mean, Chidi's clinch work is next to none. The way this guy is putting a beat down on people in the clinch is ridiculous. Now, every fighter's got that one fight where you look at it and you're like, how in the hell did you ever lose to him? And that's the Mikhail Zaitchik fight for Chidi. He got taken down and just beat up. And there's no explanation for that. There isn't. That's one of those fights where it's like the OSP fight for Kennedy and Zechko. You just kind of look the other way. That shit did not happen. He went to 170 after that and never looked back. And I think it's working out good for him. I think it's going to be good enough to beat Jake Matthews. He's going to stuff any takedown attempts Jake Matthews has to throw at him. And I think he's just going to kind of pepper him up, put him against the cage. Jake Matthews not too comfortable there. When we saw Dusko Todorovic get absolutely mauled by a big elbow, Zaleski got hit with that knee and then the elbows again. This guy's elbow game is insane. Very, very dangerous fighter. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, to see a Chidi finish now that I think about it. I mean, those knees in the clinch are so vicious. And the way he rips the body, he's throwing elbows up top. I think Jake Matthews is going to be in a world of trouble on the cage here. Give me Chidi to win the fight. I'm going to call decision. I'm going to stick with what I was saying earlier. I think this fight's going long. But, I mean, Chidi is just so damn dangerous. I think in the clinch, this guy is up there with some of the best. We have Max Griffin taking on Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis coming back to 170 since before he was in the UFC. I think he took his UFC debut at 185 and then he just liked not cutting the weight. Coming back down, and his line is disgusting. If I catch any of you betting Chris Curtis at minus 300, what is wrong with you? This fight is going to decision. Let's make that very clear. Max Griffin, the only times this guy has ever been put away is by a Russell Heavy Colby Covington ground and pound. And I think that's Max Griffin's debut in the UFC. Let me double check that. Yeah, in his debut, he got TKO'd by Colby in the third. Whatever, it happens. It's your debut. Not a problem. And then Michael Chiesa, the rear naked choke merchant himself, submitted him. That was a little surprising. I'm not going to lie to you. Very surprising, especially, again, a round 3 finish. But let's be 100% honest here. Is Chris Curtis finishing anybody? When's the last time Chris Curtis got a finish? We're looking at wimpy-ass Brendan Allen back in the day. We're looking at Phil Hawes. Again, like 4 years ago. We're 4 years removed from the last time Chris Curtis ended a fight. Max Griffin also, not a fight finisher. The last time this guy got a TKO or a KO, what are we looking at? Kenan Song. Again, 4 years removed. So we're 4 years removed on both sides from either one of these guys finding a finish. Max Griffin, notoriously durable. Chris Curtis at 185, this guy has a hell of a chin. He does. He gets hit a lot. Chris Curtis gets hit an insane amount, like 7 significant strikes per minute this guy's getting landed on. He also has very high output. His counter-striking is good. He has very powerful shots in the counter-striking. Doesn't change the fact that he gets hit a lot to make that happen. I think Max Griffin can actually find a little bit of success here. Max Griffin's the king of finding a little bit of success. He's not the king of winning. This guy's got 11 career losses. Let's make that very clear. I think 9 of his losses are in the UFC. He's not the king of having a lot of success. He's the king of having a little bit of success. You want to count how many split decisions are on this guy's record? In this guy's 31 professional fights, he has 9 fights that have gone to split or majority decision. 9. This dude is going to split decision at like a 33% clip. Does that not concern you? Like, he's not finishing really anyone. He had a lot of knockouts way back in the day. I mean, we're looking at like the first fights he had. If you take away the first, take away this guy's first 7 fights where he's still fighting guys that are like 10-10 in their professional careers, you take those away, this guy has like 2 or 3 finishes in the career. And I know that's cherry picking stats. I don't give a shit. Max Griffin is not going to finish Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis isn't going to finish Max Griffin. Max Griffin does have powerful shots. He does have good power. If Chris Curtis's chin is gone from the weight cut, he's liable to be caught. I mean, this guy gets hit 7-6 strikes per minute. We know that. But I can't see a finish happening. I think this fight's destined to go to decision. And it's probably going to be split, probably going to be greasy. Given the fact that Max Griffin is going to a split decision at a 33% clip in his career, there is literally no way to justify the Chris Curtis money line unless you think he's going to finish Max Griffin, who has never been finished by strikes on the feet. Never. I don't think he's ever been dropped. Hasn't been dropped in the UFC. Hasn't been finished by strikes ever. And a guy that goes to a split decision at a 33% clip, and you're telling me that you can even remotely justify Chris Curtis at a minus 300 line? If you're betting Chris Curtis, I think that's just a horrible bet. I'm picking Chris Curtis. I think Chris Curtis is going to win the fight. But you have to understand something in the betting game. It's a numbers game. I see a lot of guys that are like placing bets on guys they don't think are going to win. Like 1,000% the value in this fight is on Max Griffin. We have Chris Curtis's chin concerns coming down in a weight class at the age of like 38. And we have the fact that Max Griffin is going to split decisions in fights that maybe shouldn't even be split decisions. The guy fights razor close every single time. And Chris Curtis is coming down in weight at the age of 38. Max Griffin's no spring chicken. This guy's like 39. I mean, yeah, 39, 38. Similar in age, similar spots in their careers. Lots of losses combined here. There's no way you can justify a Chris Curtis minus 300. You are way, way better off taking the over 2.5 rounds. I mean, honestly, you might even get like a fight starts round 3 for the same as Chris Curtis money line. And there's a chance that he doesn't get the split decision. You could check out what the fight goes split decision. You could check out the Max Griffin plus 3.5. I don't think this fight's going to end in a finish. I'm going to pick Chris Curtis to win. Probably going to be a 29-28, maybe split decision. You can't lay minus 3.5 points for Chris Curtis. That's a historically, that's got to be insanely negative ROI against Max Griffin if you're betting the minus 3.5. The guy doesn't get finished. He always goes to decision. It's always close. The return on that investment has to be horrific. I think Max Griffin plus 3.5 is a killer bet. It's probably like minus 150. Maybe you can find another spot on the card you like to go with that. And I think Chris Curtis wins this fight by a very, very close, questionable decision. I think he's just going to get it done based on the skill, based on the output. Max Griffin is very good at surviving. If Chris Curtis hurts him, he's not going to drop him, I don't think. If he hurts him a little bit, Max Griffin's going to kind of shell up on the cage. He's not going to get TKO'd with body shots. He's not going to get TKO'd with a knee. He's just going to do what he did against Morales and just kind of skate around and survive. Junior Tafa, Tuco Tokos. Guys, I mean, Junior Tafa's coming down in weight after having a bad run at heavyweight. His last fight, he got Sean Sheriff on like 2 days' notice, and he damn near got finished in the first round. Yeah, that was not a good look. He got taken down. And Tuco Tokos, what does this guy do? He's big as shit. He comes forward. He tries to take you down. His takedown entries are garbage. He's very bad at establishing a good control position against Navajo Sterling, who has like literally less than 5 years of mixed martial arts experience. The dude's like a fucking white belt. And Tuco Tokos is taking him down, and he's able to do nothing with it. Now, we know city kickboxing guys have good takedown defense. The takedown defense didn't even look good. He was just able to stand up when Tokos took him down because Tokos doesn't know what he's doing, it seems. I mean, this guy's supposed to be a grappler. This guy was a 6-1 favorite over big Ming Ying Zhang. Like, he was a 6-1 favorite on Road to UFC back in the day, and then Ming knocked his ass out. Navajo Sterling couldn't knock him out because he's garbage. Tafa, we were talking earlier about his inflated takedown defense. To his credit, I don't rate Tokos' takedowns to be that much better than Mo Usman. I think Tokos might get 1, he might get 2. Junior Tafa carries power throughout the fight. I know if you want to watch like the funniest thing I've ever seen, when this guy fought Rogerio de Lima on short notice, he got leg kicked so bad because his boxing stance is like that's all he can do. He's a former glory kickboxer. He can only box. He can't throw kicks. He doesn't throw kicks. He will not throw kicks. He just stands very square and he just wants to box with you. And when Rogerio de Lima was ripping the leg over and over and over and over, he had no answer for it. He didn't check them. He tried switching stances, and he threw one of the most wimpy punches I've ever seen. Like southpaw Junior Tafa. It's not a pretty sight. Switch stance Tafa is horrible to watch, but it's so funny, man. The punch is like so slow, so telegraphed. He just has zero ability to throw from the switch stance, and it's so funny. I mean, I'm talking all this shit about Junior Tafa because I think he's garbage. I know he's garbage. He's going to knock out Tokos. I mean, Tokos, I don't see him having a lot of success in the grappling. He might be able to hold him. He might be able to hold Tafa against the cage, maybe. I don't know. He's going to probably have a little bit of success. He might get 1 takedown. He might get 2. Tafa carries the power throughout the whole fight. Every round starts standing. I think it's just kind of written in the stars for Tafa to find a knockout here to get his light heavyweight debut started off right. I would like to say one more thing, actually. I think Tokos can have success kicking the legs. I just don't see this guy as having the most devastating leg kicks on the planet. Like, Tafa has been. He got TKO'd by Rogerio de Lima with leg kicks. He's been TKO'd in Glory Kickboxing by leg kicks. He's been knocked down in Glory Kickboxing by leg kicks. This guy can't check leg kicks. He refuses to. He doesn't know how. And Tokos, he does actually throw to the legs. He throws about 25% to the legs, which is actually very, very good. Against Navajo Sterling, I think he was worried a lot about the strikes that were coming back at him. To be fair, this fight he should be as well. But with Navajo Sterling, you have to worry about the kicks more so than the hands. Junior Tafa, you don't have to worry about the fucking kicks. Keep your hands up high and just destroy the leg over and over. Rogerio de Lima laid out the game plan. Tokos has a very, very clear path to victory. A lot of people are saying it's through the grappling. I think it's through the grappling to an extent if you want to find your way to the cage on him. But then you just got to back off and kick the legs. Kick the legs, get him wobbly, push him back to the cage over and over, rinse and repeat. That's Tokos' path to victory. That's probably the reason I won't be betting on Junior Tafa unless maybe I'm going to take a knockout shot. But yeah, I'm giving me Junior Tafa by knockout in round 2. I think he's going to carry his power late. But Tokos does 1,000% have a way to win this fight. I might just bet the fight to end in knockout. Then we have everyone's favorite fighter, Austin Lane, taking on the letdown himself, Vitor Petrino. Now, we all know Austin Lane, no chin, no striking defense, athletic dude, absolutely massive, not a great fighter. Vitor Petrino, on the other hand, very skilled fighter, very good grappling, very crisp striking. He's actually very quick. He's very quick. He has good wrestling. He has good striking. He has good grappling. He has every tool in the bag, and he just sells it. He was beating up Dustin Jacoby. In my opinion, he was up 2 rounds. Third round, he gets clipped, turns into Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman. Against Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith checked one leg kick, and then all of a sudden, this guy just throws himself into a guillotine. I mean, the fight IQ in that fight was just insane. And I think that in this fight, I think he should go back to his grappling roots. I think Austin Lane has showed that he can crack. In the Mario Pinto fight, he dropped Pinto bad in the first round. I thought Pinto was going to get knocked out by Austin Lane. Vitor Petrino came into the UFC, grapple, grapple, grapple. That's all this guy was doing. He beat Rodolfo Bellato. He knocked him down, TKO'd him. It is what it is. Against Anton Turkalj, 7 takedowns. Against Marcin Prachnio, 4 takedowns. But Modestas Bukauskas, 1 takedown. Then I think he knocked him out in the second round. Tyson Pedro, 3 takedowns, just picking him up and slamming him. Anthony Smith, he got the 1 takedown, and then in the Jacoby fight, he wasn't really shooting. It was kind of half-assed takedown attempts. I think he registered for 4 takedown attempts. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 of them were legit. I don't know. I don't rate those takedown attempts too highly. I don't think he was really trying. I think he was having success on the feet, and he liked that. I think in this fight, he should run forward, tackle Austin Lane. I think he's the way better grappler. I think Vitor Petrino by submission is very, very live in this fight. I think a lot of people are going to be betting Petrino by knockout because the guy has a lot of knockouts. And I can't fault you for that. Austin Lane literally has no chin, and he has the worst striking defense I've ever seen. But at the same time, Petrino, he's got the submission in the bag, man. I can see it. I'm trying to be I'm not trying to be that guy that's intentionally trying to be different. But dude, give me Petrino by submission. I think this guy's going to take Austin Lane down. He's going to be ground and pounding him. Austin Lane's going to get hurt. He's going to come up and do a weird thing. And then Vitor Petrino's going to find a guillotine or some weird submission on him. Obviously this fight's not going the distance. I think we can rule that one out unless Petrino wants to have a payday for himself. He tells his whole family to bet on him by decision at plus 500 or something. And then his whole family gets rich when he just milks this out and lays on Austin Lane. But yeah, give me Petrino inside the distance. The knockout's obviously more likely, but I'm trying to call the submission here. Vitor Petrino inside distance, probably a round 1, round 2 finish for the guy. All right, for some reason the graphics aren't loading for this Nate Landwehr fight here. We talk about Nate Landwehr taking on Morgan Charrier, the last pirate. Now Morgan Charrier in his last fight, he got dropped in the first round. This dude was swinging at air. I mean, this guy's accuracy is sub 50%. He is not landing the shots. He's swinging at air. He's kicking air. But Nate Landwehr also sucks. I mean, this fight right here is literally the only reason Morgan Charrier is this big of a favorite, which he absolutely should not be. He should not be this big of a favorite because Morgan Charrier is not that good. I don't think he's going to have much wrestling success. Nate Landwehr, he's been there, done that with higher level grapplers. But then you look at the last fight, and Doo-Ho Choi was out grappling him, but Doo-Ho Choi kind of beat the shit out of him in the first round, the second round, and the third round. We had a lot of money on Doo-Ho Choi, by the way, just in case you guys forgot about that. Doo-Ho Choi as an underdog. I mean, I think the right side, if you're talking pure value, is Nate Landwehr in this fight, but I'm not betting on Nate Landwehr. I think Nate Landwehr is garbage. I think Morgan Charrier is probably going to squeak out a close decision. Nate Landwehr is super chinny, and this guy gets finished in almost all of his losses. I think he has like 6 professional losses, 4 of which are by finish. I think Morgan Charrier's best bet is to kind of work in the clinch, try and beat Nate up that way. I think Nate's kind of wild on the feet. He's going to blitz in with no regard for his chin. It's going to be up in the air. Morgan Charrier is probably going to be swinging his magical hooks that hit absolutely nothing. And then this fight's just going to be an underwhelming decision. Morgan Charrier does not win decisions, though. That's kind of the other thing I want to get at. Morgan Charrier in his career, he's like 5-10 when the fights go the distance. Like, this guy's constantly losing. He has like 5 split decision losses. In the fight against Chepe, I thought he won. But, I mean, split decision loss, whatever. Nate Landwehr, if it goes to the cards, he has a history of winning, but I think Morgan Charrier is going to get this one done on the cards. Unbettable at this line. I'm not going to look too much into this fight. I think both these guys suck. And, I mean, yeah. Give me Morgan Charrier by decision. I would not be surprised at all if Nate Landwehr finds a way to squeak this fight out on the cards. All right, now for the fights after this, I'm not going to have a ton to say. I think they're pretty straightforward. But this fight right here, I have a lot to say. Because I think Steve Garcia is absolutely garbage. And a lot of people aren't going to like that because a lot of people are nuking the Steve Garcia money line. I can't get behind it. I think Steve Garcia sucks. Does he win this fight? Shit, he might. He really just might, because Calvin Kattar doesn't do the things that make Steve Garcia a free win. Steve Garcia has never checked a leg kick. This guy has been knocked down or tripped up. When he's just blitzing like crazy and someone kicks his leg, they sweep his leg, he falls. His footwork is not good. He's like flat-footed, wide stance, super easy to off balance. I mean, I've seen this guy put off balance by leg kicks more than any other fighter I've ever taped. I don't know. This guy needs to do like some balance drills. He needs to walk the balance beam. He needs to figure out how to check a leg kick, turn your leg. It's horrible. But Calvin Kattar doesn't kick legs. Calvin Kattar just simply doesn't. His strikes are like 96% to the head across his career. It's like, man, what am I supposed to do with that? This guy's a headhunter. Steve Garcia is also a headhunter. Steve Garcia, he overthrows on every single strike that he tries to throw. Overthrows like oh my God, there's words I want to use to describe his striking that I can't. Whenever this guy like senses danger, he just wails an overhand, wails a hook, and if the guy ducks, which happens often to him, he ends up throwing himself because he's swinging so hard and so recklessly. Now, if he connects like he has against most of his opponents recently, yeah, you're going to go out. The reason this guy's so damn dangerous is because when he gets on the ground, after he wails one of those big shots and he magically clips you, his elbows on the ground are nasty. He's not afraid to cheat. Elbows to the back of the head is this guy's specialty. He is a dirty fighter. He was trying to, Luis Pena. He had like a triangle in. He's locking his toes in the cage to hold Pena there so he can't build height to get out of it. I've seen this guy grab the cage more times than I can count. I've seen this guy elbow the back of like 3 or 4 opponents' heads, hammer fisting the back of their head. It doesn't matter. This guy's a dirty-ass fighter. You could say it's a plus that he's willing to cheat to win. Fair enough. That's why he's probably on a win streak right now. I mean, Calvin Kattar is just historically durable. And do I think Steve Garcia is going to knock him out? I don't know. Because even Kyle Nelson, who isn't that historically durable, the guy's been knocked out, I think, 2 or 3 times outside of this fight against Steve Garcia. I mean, the way that fight ended, if you guys don't recall, Steve Garcia instantly, Kyle Nelson walked up, kicked him in the leg. Steve Garcia just fell backwards because this guy's balance is atrocious. And then Kyle Nelson took his back. He held his back. And then Steve Garcia managed to reverse the position. He got on top, elbowed him, crazy illegal elbow to the back of the head, caused a giant welt on the back of Kyle Nelson's head. I'll throw it up on screen real quick. That was after the fight. Kyle Nelson clearly very concussed from that. He's moving horrifically. None of his movements really made sense. He was rolling the wrong way on the ground. And then he gets actually knocked out from another elbow that he probably couldn't even see coming because his brain is already scrambled from the back of the headshot. And then we want to go to the Sung Woo Choi fight. I don't put a lot of stock into a Sung Woo Choi win because we all know the worst thing that happened to Sung Woo Choi was knocking out Julian Erosa because he magically thought that he was a striker. And he would go on to get knocked out in like 4 of his last 5 fights. Like, this guy is just getting knocked out left. He's striking with Kevin Vallejos. He's striking with Steve Garcia. When Steve Garcia cracked him, Sung Woo Choi is like, all right, we're going. And he just starts wailing hooks over and over and over. No defense, no takedown, no clinch, nothing. Just chin up in the air, swinging hooks. That's Steve Garcia's game. Steve Garcia isn't good. He isn't technical, but he hits very, very hard. And look at that. Sung Woo Choi got knocked out. Melquizael Costa, another fault of Steve Garcia. When this guy is in grappling positions, he shows zero urgency. If you get this guy, if you take his back, you're probably going to be there for the whole round. Kyle Nelson kind of fumbled it trying to go for a bunch of rear naked choke attempts. If he was just content to hold Steve Garcia there, he would have won the round on back control. Melt Costa took Steve Garcia to the cage, and he spent the whole fight just trying to jump on the back. He had the back for a little bit standing, and then Steve Garcia, he'll shake him off. He's doing kind of the right things, fighting the hands. He's grabbing the cage to stop the takedowns. He's just doing enough to not get choked out, but he's mounting no offense. He's not concerned with striking. He's not concerned with breaking the clinch, going back to the center. He's just okay being held. We see this again in the Shylon Nurdenbeke fight. In Shylon Nurdenbeke, this guy, he gets a takedown, he gets a knockdown because Shylon was beating the absolute shit out of Steve Garcia. He knocked him down bad. And then he gets down on him. He just sits there and guard. Steve Garcia literally does not care. He's cool just chilling in guard. Is what it is. We'll come back in round 2. Round 2 starts, then we're going to knock him out. Nasty body shots. Steve Garcia's body work is actually really good. His elbows are his best weapon, but his body hooks are actually really good too. But again, then we go to the Luis Pena fight. Pena took him to the cage. He had 14 minutes of control time without a single takedown attempted. Now that's a little bit concerning because he kind of jumped the back of Steve Garcia, then Steve Garcia fell down, so it doesn't count as a takedown, but he just put Steve Garcia on the ground and he literally offered zero resistance. He did not even try to get back up, it looked like. He was just content sitting on the bottom. But again, Calvin Kattar doesn't wrestle. He doesn't grapple. He's not going to present that. Now he's training at TriStar. If TriStar's looking at this, they're looking at Calvin Kattar like, dude, kick the legs, push him to the cage. This is the freest win of your career. Steve Garcia doesn't move in and out like Yusuf Zalal. He doesn't grapple like Aljamain Sterling. He doesn't have phenomenal output and technical striking like Max Holloway. He's not as fast as Arnold Allen. Steve Garcia is literally dog shit, but he's probably going to win this fight because Calvin Kattar is just old, he's a little bit slower, and he doesn't do the correct things that are needed to make Steve Garcia a free win. Unfortunately, I'm going to pick Steve Garcia by decision. Unfortunately. But Steve Garcia doesn't have a chin. This guy doesn't check leg kicks. He has no chin. If you actually do the math, this is actually a fun thing I was calculating. I did this with Austin Lane and Steve Garcia. I don't remember the Austin Lane number offhand. I forgot that one. But with Steve Garcia, in the 6 times he's been knocked down in the UFC, because we're counting 3 in the, the Charlie Ontiveros fight? We're counting 3 knockdowns there because there were 3 knockdowns, but only 2 were recorded. He's getting knocked down with 8% of all strikes that have been thrown at him and landed. If Calvin Kattar lands 100 strikes on Steve Garcia's head, which is all he does, Calvin Kattar just lights up the head. If we're going off the numbers that we've seen through Steve Garcia's multiple UFC fights, Calvin Kattar should have 8 knockdowns. Steve Garcia has no chin. Absolutely chinny as all can be. And Calvin Kattar does have good counter strikes. When Steve Garcia got put down by Mahashate, he cracked Mahashate a little bit, and then he kind of walked in with his hands down. He threw his big right hook where he overextends like he always does. Left hand, nowhere to be seen guarding the chin. Right hand, out in the middle of nowhere, winding up for this strike. Both sides of his head wide open. Check hook, puts him out stiff. Turned him into a plank, and he just fell down to the ground and face planted. Calvin Kattar 1,000% can knock out Steve Garcia. And I kind of want to see it. I want to see someone get knocked out in this fight. Calvin Kattar's just too durable. I can't bet against his durability. I hate the fact that I have to pick Steve Garcia to win. Honestly, in an ideal world, my ideal pick here would be Steve Garcia by like first round knockout instantly again, just so that any fighter in the top 15 that Steve Garcia fights next, I can literally load up my entire account balance and just fade this dude with every dollar I've ever had to my name. Because Steve Garcia is not good. Steve Garcia will never be a top 5 fighter. He will never be a top 10 fighter. This guy is garbage and he will be exposed in his next fight. I know that for a fact, but he's probably going to get through Calvin Kattar, who's lost 5 out of his last 6. He's age 37, had an ACL tear like 2 fights ago, and he doesn't wrestle, he doesn't kick legs, he doesn't do the things that are required to beat Steve Garcia, and he's going to lose because of it. All right, now that we got that Yab Fest out of the way, back to a more simple fight here. Stephen Thompson, my favorite fighter of all time, is unfortunately going to get guillotined by Gabriel Bonfim. Bonfim is probably going to take the first round. He's just going to pressure forward, grapple, push Wonderboy to the cage, like Wonderboy gets pushed to the cage pretty often. Joaquin Buckley took him down multiple times, but he was able to do nothing with the takedowns. You got to remember that. Shavkat, it took him 7 minutes to take down Wonderboy. But I mean, big wrestlers like Bilal Muhammad, like Gilbert Burns, even for a little bit, they're able to just kind of toss Wonderboy around. His submission defense is actually pretty decent against Shavkat. It showed a little bit of a flaw, but Shavkat is a very high-level grappler. Unfortunately, Bonfim is also a high-level grappler. But again, you're paying minus 400 for a guy, and you are depending on him to wrestle. I mean, is he? He's like a Brazilian boxing champion. He has hands. He's shown his hands. He likes to use his hands. Wonderboy doesn't have the most power coming back. Is it crazy to say that Wonderboy outpoints Gabriel Bonfim? Is that crazy to say? Wonderboy, 15-minute experience all the way through, 25. He can keep the whole pace. He can put a striking masterclass on just about anybody in this division. I mean, he's up, in my opinion, he was up 2 rounds to Buckley on the scorecards. Now, the scorecards for that fight, if you remember, they were all over the place. One judge had a 2-0 Buckley. The other one had a 2-0 Wonderboy. One of them had a 1-1. Like, the scorecards were everywhere, but I had Wonderboy winning 2-0 in that fight. It's not crazy to say that Wonderboy outpoints Gabriel Bonfim to a decision if Gabriel Bonfim does not pressure forward without wrestling instantly. Against Angelusa, the only fight in his career where he's gone to decision. Super low output, and he was getting taken down, and he was just throwing guillotines. I mean, that's his game. The guillotine is Bonfim's game. And we've seen him before. He kind of comes into the clinch, and he snaps your head down into the guillotine. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be Wonderboy's demise. In the clinch, he lowers his head to get to the same level to stop the takedown. And that's what Bonfim is waiting for. He's waiting. He's going to try and dig the underhooks, get one underhook, snap the head of Wonderboy down right into that left armpit, and he's just going to jump the guillotine backwards from there. And unfortunately, I think Wonderboy is going to succumb to like a round 2, round 3 guillotine. It really sucks because Wonderboy is, like I said, my favorite fighter of all time, and I absolutely despise seeing him lose. But I think the Bonfim grappling is going to be a little bit too much here. And unfortunately, I have to go Bonfim by submission in the 2nd or 3rd round. All right, Derek Lewis, Taliesin Teixeira. Hey, let me paint you guys a little picture real quick. Brazilian fighter on a very extended win streak, like an 8 or a 10 fight win streak, comes into a main event against Derek Lewis in his last fight where he basically wasn't hit at all. The round line is under 1.5 for minus 200. And that fight should surely end at under 1.5, right? There's no way that fight goes 5 whole rounds, right? Oh, wait. Dude, we just saw this shit with Jailton Almeida. I understand Jailton Almeida and Taliesin Teixeira are 2 completely different fighters. But we just saw this. Are we really still paying juice for these under 1.5s? I mean, when's the last time a juiced under 1.5 came through? Terrence McKinney? I mean, that's about it. Cody Brundage fight? No. That fight was heavily favored to go under. That one didn't go under. There was one, the card before that, I'm forgetting the fighter off the top of my head, another super juiced under 1.5. Doesn't come through. I mean, Derek Lewis, this guy pretty much exclusively gets finished in the first round or he finds a knockout late in the fight. Taliesin Teixeira, dude, we haven't seen this guy past 2.5 minutes. I mean, we've seen this guy go over the 3-minute mark one time in his career, and he got an inverted triangle armbar over some guy who was also making his debut. This guy's been competing in MMA for less than 5 years. Derek Lewis has been in the UFC for 8 years longer than Taliesin Teixeira has been competing in mixed martial arts. What are we doing? I know Derek Lewis sucks, dude. Derek Lewis is at a skill disadvantage in every single fight in his career. There has never been a fight where Derek Lewis is the more skilled fighter. Not once. But this dude just kind of does what he does. He stays at range when he shouldn't. He doesn't crash the pocket. He's not fast. In his last couple fights, he's actually been rustling. In the Nascimento fight, he was rustling, which was crazy. But it's like, I don't know, man. You're going to pay minus 300 for a guy who's never been out of the first round? I mean, again, you just bet Taliesin Teixeira round 1 finish if you're going to bet him. Don't parlay Taliesin Teixeira, just bet him round 1. Bet him round 1 knockout. Derek Lewis isn't really getting submitted. Jailton Almeida couldn't submit this dude over 5 rounds. Sergey Spivak, I think, is the only guy who submitted Derek Lewis. Sorry, DC and Sergey Spivak are the only fighters that have submitted Derek Lewis. Taliesin Teixeira going to submit this guy? Probably not. Derek Lewis has been open about talking about his jiu-jitsu. What's going to happen if Derek Lewis runs forward like he did in his last fight and he just takes down Taliesin Teixeira and lays on him? Just really stretches that gas tank out. Derek Lewis isn't a smart fighter. He's not a skilled fighter. Can he do that? Yeah. Yeah, he can. I mean, like, why is Taliesin Teixeira such a big favorite? I understand Derek Lewis has been knocked out how many times? I mean, like 7 knockout losses. I get it. So I can't even say that I don't understand because I absolutely do. Taliesin Teixeira is a round 1 knockout machine. The only time Derek Lewis has ever been knocked out in the first round was Sergey Pavlovich. So why is this fight minus 250 to go under 1.5? Why is that how this fight's projected to go? I mean, I don't know, man. I think Derek Lewis absolutely can win this fight because I'm watching Taliesin Teixeira on the Contender Series get pieced up a little bit by Arthur Lopez, the middleweight who has one fight in the last 6 years, who fought at heavyweight against Taliesin Teixeira. Why was he on Contender Series? Who did he pay? Who did he blow? I don't know. But Taliesin Teixeira sucks. I'm kidding, this guy, he doesn't suck. But his last fight, he tapped Justin Tafa in the nuts and then caught him with an elbow on the way down, broke his nose. The nose break stopped the fight more than, it wasn't a knockout. He broke his nose and he shelled up because of it. That happens and whatever. He got kicked, he got kneed in the balls and elbowed in the nose. It happens. The elbow in the nose obviously isn't a foul. I'm not calling it a foul, but still. It's like, is Derek Lewis really going to get put out in the first round for the second time in his career? Or are we going to have to see Taliesin Teixeira come into round 2? What's going to happen in round 2? What's going to happen if Derek Lewis lands a takedown? I don't know. Nobody knows because we haven't seen it. Is Taliesin Teixeira going to inverted triangle armbar Derek Lewis? No, I don't think so. Is Derek Lewis incredibly more live as the fight goes on? Yeah, he is. With the exception of Rogerio de Lima, where he just ran forward and flying kneed him instantly, which was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. With the exception of that one and the Chris Daukaus fight, because everyone knows Chris Daukaus is Chris Daukaus. I mean, Derek Lewis isn't knocking people out in the first round. I mean, you got to go back. With the exception of those two, because there's good reason for both those. Chris Daukaus, I'm sorry, brother. But, like, you got to go back to 2016 to find the last time this guy's knocking someone out in the first round. He got finished up by Sergey Spivak with the arm triangle. That was very impressive by Sergey Spivak. Taliesin Teixeira, I don't see him replicating that. It's not his game. He's going to come in there. He's going to stand and bang. Derek Lewis slows the pace. I think the best bet for this fight is fight starts round 2 at plus 100. I think I'm going to be taking that. I might even sprinkle on Derek Lewis to win and round 2 to start. I mean, it just seems like it seems too obvious for Taliesin Teixeira round 1 to be the play that I just don't see it hitting, you know? I think a lot of people are going to get burned on this card trying to find value with these juiced lines. Be very careful, everyone. Be very, very careful. I'm going to be looking for the best spots possible. If you want to see exactly what I'm doing with my money, join the Discord, top link in the description. Totally free, 100% free. I'm not going to charge you for bets. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not trying to sell you some course or whatever. Just a guy giving you my picks, my bets. We've been killing the UFC. We've been killing regional MMA, obliterating the MLB. When football and hockey come back, we are nuking those sports too. Basketball is the only one where I struggled a little bit, and that's all right. I know that. I own that. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like. Let me know your locks. Let me know your picks. And we will be back tomorrow for the 5 locks and the best underdogs video. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace out.